Keith Myers here again today. I wanted to do kind of a follow-up to the short video I did earlier on the engine or the power base for PKB martial boxing. You know, how you generate power. If you'll recall, I talked about the pivot, how we're always pivoting off of the ball of one foot, turning on one hip while the other foot is planted, whether it's this way or this way. Well, now we're going to add some refinement to that, or an add-on, you might say. We're going to talk about waist power. Waist power is a term you hear a lot in Chinese martial arts. It's the whole idea, it's really using your hips to add to the power, but since it's usually both hips at the same time, it involves the waist. And if you have a Wing Chun background, one of the important areas where you develop this is with the long pole. Exercise with the long pole to develop this waist power is to hold the pole out at arm's length, and now the goal is to move the tip of the pole as much as possible without bending my elbows. You can see it's just turning my waist this way using the hips. Okay. Also, from a Wing Chun perspective, you've either seen or you've done it yourself, punching the wall bag, basic training, bean bag on the wall, standing there in front of it in my nice stance, working the wall bag. And you can see that's all arm. When I start putting waist power into it, now I'm using this little snap with my hip. So it goes from this to this. Because I'm using that same waist power from the pole, right? Boom, boom, boom. Getting that little snap. So we're going to do that in our martial boxing as well. And if you don't have a pole, one of the ways you can train it, I showed you how to train the basic pivot. Well, now we're going to make that pivot is turning, but notice there's no snap there through my hip. So what I want to do is, from this kind of stance, practice snap, snap, snap. Okay? To get used to that power. So, when I'm throwing my jab, I can be faced off with this guy and throw my jab. Just like doing the Wing Chun punch on the wall bag, this is pretty much all arm. Now when I start putting my waist power into it, using this hip, it becomes this. Okay? Same way with my cross. I can do the normal pivot. Now when I put that little snap from my waist power, it's a subtle difference, but it can be a big difference. And that's how we use waist power in martial boxing.